Hello, everyone, and goodbye 2022. As we made it through a whole other year, this one was filled with great and fun movies, and I'm here to list off my favorites and what I consider the best, I guess. I mean, art is subjective, and here's my subjective opinion. Before we start, I've watched 94 2022 releases this year, and that is a lot, but I did miss some, and some that have been getting pretty good critical reviews, and so I'm assuming if I did watch them, there's a potential they'd be on this list, but I just didn't get around to watching them, and so I did not watch After Sun, Decision to Leave, Tar, or The Whale. So those are kind of the main four that I have not seen yet, but I will in time for the Oscars. But for now, here are my top 20 films of 2022. And also, just to preface, there are some movies on this list that technically came out in 2021 during festival runs, but of course I was not at those festivals, and they had their theatrical releases in 2022, so I am counting those as 2022 movies, okay? Let's get started. I wrote them on a little list, so here we go. First, we have some honorable mentions, that being X, The Northman, and Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. I especially recommend that last one because it's small and indie and not a lot of people have seen it, so go check it out. Number 20, we got Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. I thought this was just masterfully crafted and made. Stop motion is beautiful. Takes a long time and hard work, and Del Toro put his great spin on it as always. Number 19, we have Scream, the new one. I thought this was just a super fun, more so whodunit than horror, and I just had a great time in the theater, and I'm excited for the next one. Number 18, we got Fire of Love, the volcano documentary about the two people who are married and study volcanoes. I thought it was, first of all, looked beautiful, but also beautiful story. Number 17, The Menu. Yeah, is it on the nose? Sure, but is it fun? Heck yeah. Speaking of on the nose, for number 16, I have Vengeance. Yes, it is on the nose, but you fall in love with all the characters immediately, and I just think it's a very important message for today's society. Yes, other movies have had this message before, but really, it's really modernized to 2022, and I enjoyed it. Number 15 is Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It is such a comfort movie, and also really hits those emotional beats when it needs to. Overall, just a very fun adventure for the whole family. Number 14, I have The Batman. I've never really understood the Batman as a character. I've seen the Nolan trilogy, and of course, those are good movies, but I don't necessarily understand the character. But this movie made me go, oh, I get it. I get Batman now. And I think that's really cool. Number 13, I have Avatar, The Way of Water. Sure, you can call the story basic, but you cannot debate those visuals, and it is just a spectacle. My number 12 pick is Glass Onion. Rian Johnson really did it again. Of course, some people will say he can never really capture the magic of the first one. And sure, I do still like the first one more, but this is still an amazing watch. It was great to watch it for the first time, and I'm excited to watch it for a second time. People are like, oh, it's too simple, it's too easy, or whatever. Look at the title. It's a metaphor. You can figure it out. For number 11, just missing the top 10, I have Bullet Train. This was actually one of my most anticipated movies of this year just because I really liked the first trailer that came out. I know lots of people just wrote it off as sort of a generic action movie, saying it was passable for a nice turn off your brain popcorn flick, but I actually enjoyed it way more than that. David Leitch really has his own distinct style, and the characters are so fun. If I had any critiques, I think the characters that do die off could have more to do before they die, and that's really a compliment because I just want to see more of them. All right, now we're getting to the top 10, and my number 10 pick is Pearl. I had such a delight watching this in theaters, and I think it's just very rare that you see such a bright and vibrant movie be so dark on the inside with its themes. As everyone has already pointed out, Mia Goth's performance is amazing, and just the limited budget and what they did with that and what they created, I just think is amazing. It works perfectly with X, and I'm excited for Maxine. My number 9 pick, I don't know if this is controversial now or not, but I have Babylon. To be honest, this is the one movie that really could move up or down in the list depending how much it grows on me because I just saw it recently, but I really enjoyed it. I guess my sort of controversial opinion is when it comes to movies is that so many people say, like, especially these really long movies, that it could be shorter, cut out the fat, all this stuff. But I think, if the stuff that you're presenting looks good and keeps me engaged, I don't care how long it is. And that's what Babylon did for me. Sure, you can, really critique and get down to the script and say these scenes are not important for the plot, you can cut them out. But still, those scenes are some of the best scenes in the movie, and they're just, as long as I'm sitting down and watching it and it's engaging me, I really don't care what's important for the plot at that point. And I can't forget to mention Justin Hurwitz's amazing score. I've been listening to Voodoo Mama on repeat. It is going to be my #1 song of 2023 on Spotify. I am predicting it now. For number 8, I have Nope. And this, of course, everyone's going to compare it to Jordan Peele's previous work, but I think it stands alone as just an amazing kind of action movie in a way tied with that horror. And Jordan Peele wanted to make a spectacle to bring audiences back in theaters, and I think he did exactly that. I think one of the scariest moments, probably top 3 or so, watching a horror movie this year was that Gordy scene. That really freaked me out, and there's still so many levels to this metaphorically and whatnot that I haven't even began to dissect in my mind, and I would love to keep watching it over and over again. My number 7 pick is Pleasure. This follows a young woman who's trying to make it big in the porn industry, and to be honest, I'm kind of very fascinated with the subject. A year or two ago, I watched the documentary Hot Girls Wanted, and that really opened my eyes to kind of the whole, system and business side of it. And I think Pleasure is a great fictionalization of that documentary and how it really destroys the brains of people working in this industry on how they try and come out on top. It's very sort of Wolf of Wall Street, I think, to me. And I enjoyed it thoroughly, and all the emotional beats really hit me hard. So that is number 7. Number 6 is Triangle of Sadness. There are so many movies in 2022 that critique capitalism in America and whatnot, and some are very on the nose, and throw this one on the list as well. But I think it has the most fun critiquing it out of all the movies that have done it so far this year. I went into this movie knowing absolutely nothing about it other than it won Cannes, and I had a blast. I understand why it won Cannes, and I think there just needs to be more genuinely fun movies like this that also have something to say. All right, as we enter the top 5, my number 5 pick is Cha Cha Real Smooth. This movie really resonated with me as I'm getting closer and closer to finishing college, to watch a coming-of-age story about a young man who has graduated college and still doesn't know everything about himself, is still becoming himself. I think it's just something you don't see in movies anymore. We think coming-of-age movies have to be teenagers, have to be in high school, have to go to these parties and do this thing, get the girl, learn about yourself, the end. But in reality, it's no, your life still goes on after high school, after college, and that's when, your life, quote-unquote, begins. And that's where you should do most of your personal growth. And so it's great to see that in film, and it's just I'm speechless. Number 4, it's the movie that's going to be on all the lists. I'm guessing it's going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. I am a huge sucker for absurdism, as you'll see in my number 1 pick. But for now, Everything Everywhere All at Once is absurd, it's crazy, it's out there, and what I admire the most of any filmmaker is just imagination. Showing me something I've never seen before takes imagination, and telling me a story I've never seen before takes imagination, and Daniels really pulled this off. I get it, this movie is getting praise from all sides, and I'm just throwing on my nonsense to it, but yeah, it's amazing, and I just gotta commend these two for their imagination, and all the actors in it. Dear Lord, do they need those awards. My number 3 pick is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This is also one of my most anticipated movies going into this year, and wow, did it deliver. I love this movie for a number of reasons. First of all, it got me posting to this channel again. I haven't posted for about an entire year, and then I saw Bodies, 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 and I just felt really inclined to make that Alice video that sort of, got me a lot of views, and more than I had ever had on this channel, and I'm very thankful for that. And this movie really captures my generation. I think it's written by my generation. I forget how old the writer is, but she did an amazing job. I think this is a great screenplay to look up to for anyone sort of trying to get into indie horror, as it's a small cast, one location. You can make this on a small budget, and it has lots to say. And of course, probably my favorite thing about this film is that I went to see it with my friend, and after the movie, he said, "I want to make a movie." That to me is the most powerful thing a movie can do, is when you leave the theater, your creative juices get going. And wow, like that, it's that's what movies should do. And my second favorite movie of the year is going to be We're All Going to the World's Fair. Speaking of movies about my generation, wow, wow, wow. This movie really, I guess, just understands everything. It understands the internet so well, it understands the internet culture so well, and young children and teenagers who consume it and how it affects them. But overall, this movie just got me genuinely feeling something, and that is dread. There's a point in the movie where you really don't know which way the story is going. It can be this way or this way, and then once you realizes which way it's going, my heart just dropped. And I said, oh, this is what this movie is about. And that feeling stuck with me for so long after leaving the theater, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And wow, I haven't had that sort of feeling while in a theater watching a movie in a very long time. I think it also has just one of the most emotional and really gut-wrenching sad moments of any movie this year in it. If you've seen it, maybe you know what I'm talking about, but yeah, that scene really destroyed me. And my number one pick, here we go, drum roll please, Strawberry Mansion. Now, if you've never heard of this movie before, I understand. I'm gonna be pretentious and pick an indie thing that no one has seen. Yeah, I get it. The sheer amount of creativity and imagination that went into this movie to show me something I have literally never seen before, or my mind has never even comprehended that thought before. It was amazing. Basically, I'll give a short summary because I know not a lot of people have seen it. It's about this guy. It takes place in the future. It's about this guy who's supposed to go into your dreams and do like tax audits for everything in the dream. It's really fun and weird sort of thing. And so he goes to this old woman's house, and crazy, crazy things happen. I guarantee you will not be able to predict what happens at any given moment in the movie. And I get it. It's almost too absurd to the point where it absolutely means nothing, and just crazy random things happen to you and you go, okay, and you don't really seek any deeper meaning or metaphors from it. But I think that's kind of cool, is that it's so broad of what it's saying, and that you don't know what it's saying, that any guess is just as good as the other, and you have to get the meaning from it yourself, and there's no textbook answer for what it is. It also just looks beautiful. The pastels, the colors, everything that I love about film is in this one movie. I urge you, if you're interested in watching this movie, just go into it completely blind. I've probably said too much already in my synopsis, but yeah, wow, was it just an amazing time to watch. And I'm glad I'm sharing it now on the internet with you all. So go watch Strawberry Mansion if you want to see something I guarantee you have never seen before. And that is my list. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me your list in the comments below. I'd love to see them. Again, art is so subjective. I love, comparing and contrasting to what other people think, because of course there is no right nor wrong, so you can't tell me I'm wrong. Thanks for an amazing year watching my videos. I've had a blast making videos. My goal by the end of 2022 is I wanted to get to 1,000 subscribers, and now we're almost at 2,000, which is crazy. So if you want to help out, you can subscribe, you know what I mean? But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go check out some previous videos of this year before we get the new year started, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I'll see you guys next year. That's what I should have said.